Remember, the hashtag is Morning Cafe TV47 at TV47KE is our Twitter handle. At Eric Mnene is mine. Let's keep interacting. And now, to help me dissect matters state of the nation, I am joined by two gentlemen here. On my immediate right is Dr. Josiah Onyancha, who is a governance expert. Karibu to the studio.
Thank you.
And next to him is John Kaguchia, the Speaker of Nyeri County.
Thank you very much and good morning.
Karibu sana to the studio, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll be joined virtually by Simon Gikuru, who's the Secretary General of ANC Party. Well, let's start, let's talk about the state of the nation. And to help us do that, you'll just have to look at what made it to the headlines on the major dailies. And I see, Dr. Josiah, you have the Daily Nation with you there. Maraga and top lawyer in ugly court battle. That is the former CJ, Maraga. And the senior counsel Ahmednasir they've been fighting. They've been having a public spat over what the senior counsel claims is corruption from the former CJ. Your thoughts on that, kindly?
Well, this is healthy, and we encourage such a kind of thing because we need the rule of law. And as the former CJ felt that he had a strong case against the senior counsel, I don't think there is any harm. The law will take this course, and we shall all be happy when the rule of law will take its course. So there's nothing wrong. Let us see how things will unfold. And we shall congratulate the rule of law. Yeah. So there isn't much in that. Let the law take its course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Bona Speaker, you find it interesting that these two are having this war of words because of an alleged tweet, or rather a tweet that the senior counsel composed that seemed to suggest that CJ Maraga is not very, very clean, and he was shielding some Supreme Court judge. And the reason why this is interesting is because this case now is going to be, it'll come up for mention before Judge Said Juma Chitembo. You know what happened recently. Former Nairobi Governor, that's Mike Sonko, says that he has some expose on the rot in the judiciary, and he has trained his guns specifically on Said Juma Chitembo. Quite interesting there, don't you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. Seems like there's quite a lot of that happens behind the scenes with the judges and also other senior government officers. Yeah, but I think what we are seeing is something, according to me, doesn't really qualify to be on our headlines in the newspapers, because it's really something to do with just two personalities who really, I don't think is an issue of national interest per se. I think really there's an issue that they should, both of them, go to court and battle it out there. Because I also find a lot of gossip. I've just listened to the analysis of the newspapers when I was coming on radio. And when I had a lot of the stuff that is being discussed there between the senior counsel and the CJ Maraga, quite a lot of gossip and things that really I don't think are adding much to our discourse. I would rather we as a nation focus on things that are a little bit more important and things that are going to be of help to us as a country, things that are of interest to all of us, and other than an issue of egos and personalities. I do not think this issue is actually taking us anywhere, because it is neither discussing the issue of corruption that actually happened. It is not discussing how we are going to sort out the structural and legal issues in our judiciary or even in our legal system. It is discussing about who visited who said what at night, who lobbied where and how, and who besmirched whose name. Really, I don't think these are the things that we need to have at the top of our our newspapers' headlines. I think what we need to do is let us focus. I would rather even we look at the COVID situation in the country than look at how we are going to be sorting out the challenges that are being experienced by families economically due to the challenges that we are having.
And I was coming to that, Bwana Speaker. I was really coming to that, but just finish about. Let's wrap it up first of all with the two, the CJ Emeritus and the Senior Counsel.
I think you don't have to be so much worried, because at the end of the day, you're not even the author of that headline. So you don't have to be so much worried about that. Yeah, but I think really the media need to focus us a little bit more on major and impactful issues of this nation that are going to help us to move our country ahead. Okay. Yeah, like if you look at the discussions that we have been having in the country recently, having to do with the focus on the economy as a country, you get very refreshed and very excited that for once as a country now, we seem to be focusing on things that really matter, the economy of the country. You can imagine that every other politician now when they stand, you cannot stop unless you have addressed an issue to do with the economy. And I want the media to look at those very, very refreshing and very new ideas that are coming on board so that we can focus on that and we can move the debate from just the mere slander, gossip, and you know, personalities. We now focus on more issue-oriented discussions in the country and discourse.
Okay, sawa. Now, speaking of important public discussions, yesterday the health CS, that is Mutahi Kagwe, talked about something very interesting, and he seems to be modeling the way we are handling COVID to the way other countries are doing. He said that, that is on page 6 of the Daily Nation. He said that no beer travel this festive season without COVID vaccine certificate. Bwana Speaker, I want you to tell me this. Don't you think this could open up, a lot of suits against the government? I mean, because someone might argue, I get services because I get the services because of the taxes that I pay, not the vaccines.
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying, and the other day I was reading some European news, and what I got was that Austria, the Austria country was the Austria state was being discussed by other European countries as the one with the lowest COVID-19 vaccine uptake, and you find that the country is struggling convincing its citizens to take a vaccine. But when I was looking at the statistics, I was very shocked that whereas they're saying that Austria is lagging behind, and even they seem to be even putting some kind of restrictions on people who are coming from Austria to other, to European countries, I discovered that actually statistically they were doing about 65% of the vaccination of the nation, of the state, of the members or other citizens of that country. And I was a bit surprised that they seem to be given a red card even though they are at 65%. And I looked at our situation here in Kenya and I was a bit sympathetic of us, because what percentage are we having at the moment? I don't know whether we're actually doing 10%. We could be well below the 10% mark, especially those people who have already been vaccinated the 2 jabs. And the challenges that we are having here is not the unwillingness of Kenyans to take up this jab.
The article here says that, sorry for cutting you short, the article here says that 1.021 million, that's the number of men in Kenya who have been vaccinated, and then slightly over 900,000 is the total figure of the women who have received the vaccine.
Yeah, so I mean, you can look at this as about just 2-point-something million as compared to the population of this country, which we estimate to be about 50 million. So automatically you can see really that is a very, very low percentage, which is well below 5%. So this is a challenge that we are having as a country. And I think this challenge is not necessarily caused by unwillingness of us Kenyans to be vaccinated. This challenge, I think the first and foremost problem we have is access, access to these vaccines. So before the government gives these ultimatums, and before the government gives these new directives on people who can access public health, who can access public services from different government bodies. I think what we first of all need to ensure is that we have access. We need to ensure that this vaccine is available in almost every other village, in all the dispensaries. It's going to be available in all the health centers. It's available, at the village level.
Yes.
And that the sensitization also is higher. When we started the vaccination, there was quite a bit of sensitization coming from the government. People were urged to take this vaccine through different forums and different methods and different educational platforms and sensitization platform, including media. But I think that has gone a little bit down. And also the availability of this vaccination at the village level. That is what we need to do. And ensure that we're even having drives, even in churches, in public meetings. Yes. I mean, if we do that, then we can at that point now start giving ultimatums. But you can imagine, I want this vaccine, I can't access it, I can't get it, I even don't know where to get it, at what time. I don't even know which vaccine is available in which facility. And then, even with all that lack of information and access, you still condemn me. I think that would be unfair to Kenyans. And yes, it would bring the issue of suits, as you say, because we do not necessarily access government facilities because of certain conditions. As Kenyans, you know, constitutionally we have certain rights, constitutional rights that cannot be, given on conditions. You cannot put those conditions. So maybe the Waziri Health is probably trying to make it clear that they want people to be vaccinated, and maybe trying to impress on people to get vaccinated through those kind of ultimatums. Okay. But eventually, that can't hold when it comes to practicability of the implementation.
Okay, so Bwana Speaker, we seem to have sidelined one of our panelists. That is Simon Gikuru, the Secretary General of ANC. Bwana Gikuru, welcome to the discussion. Hello, Simon, if you can hear me. Kindly, if you can, Bwana Simon, kindly unmute your microphone.
Yes, I can hear you now. I thought I'm not part of the panel.
No, you are.
Until now, until you remember me.
Apologies Anna for that. But now we're talking about not accessing government services because to those rather who are not vaccinated. That is what Waziri for Health CS Mutahi Kagwe said yesterday, and we just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. What do you think this now means for the country?
Yeah, I think the speaker has tried in a very clear way that it's not just the patterns and deadlines and all that and the restrictions, while in terms of making sure that people at the very, very shinani levels have very easy access to the vaccine. So I put it to the speaker that properly is you go to the dispensaries, villages, to the health centers, you have a desk whereby you given told this is vaccine A, B, C, and this is attended. Even able to that you can do this, but also for traveling, there should be efforts, genuine, that government has to be to the airport and certificate to be next to the airport, telling you, hey, you can rush there and you can get vaccinated and you can proceed with your journey.
Okay, sawa.
We've got a get organized on. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Simon. I think we'll move over to the next topic as your internet stabilizes. We seem to have a problem with Simon Gikuru's, the NC Party Secretary General connection there. He's joining us by way of Skype. But let's move on to something now that is quite, as a governance expert, Dr. Josiah, and this goes to you. I don't know what now what the common Mwananchi will think about this next story about Justice Mrima securities being enhanced after he allegedly received threats. That judge is the one who sentenced the DCI boss, that is George Kinoti, to 4 months in prison for contempt of court. What does now this to the common Mwananchi, who views the court as the last resort where he can or she can find justice?
It is really unfortunate when such an incident threatening the life of a judge. It's very unfortunate. That shows that we have lapses in our security system.
Let me just be clear, Paul Sana. I want us to be clear that it's not that specific ruling that made his security be enhanced, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying that it is unfortunate that we should have such an incident threatening the judiciary in the present Kenya of 21st century. I would also urge that such a kind of treatment should be extended to the common Mwananchi. It should not only go to these big fish. Imagine if such can happen to such a big man. What about the ordinary Mwananchi? We are really in a problem, and we call upon the government agencies that are responsible for this to make sure that every citizen has a right to security and other services that are supposed to be rendered as per the Constitution. It should not be only the big man. Even the small man in the street should also be given such a kind of treatment. That's my take on that.
I don't know if we can get Simon's comments on that. If his internet has stabilized, Board Director, you can assist me with that. If you can get Simon Gikuru's comments on that. Simon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know whether you can hear me as well.
Okay, so I was engaging Daktari here, a governance expert, talking about Justice Mrima security being enhanced after being threatened by an unknown people. Justice Mrima is known for his famous ruling, which he made last week, sentencing DCI boss George Kinoti to 4 months in prison. Your thoughts on that?
Before I come to that, I think I've gotten an opportunity to also comment on the first issue of the former CJ Maraga's matter in court with Ahmednasir. Say that listening to Speaker of Nyeri County Assembly, I'm a bit taken aback, because you cannot or in a rumor when it comes to the issue of a judge of the magnitude of a CJ being mentioned adversely. I find trying to trash it. I find it quite sad, because a person of CJ status must be as blameless as Caesar's wife. Making defeats the whole idea of what we expect as a nation in terms of our national values and principles of governance, which were entrenched in the Constitution. So if anything is mentioned adversely, suggested, or even a judge, it's an issue of national interest. It must make headlines. So I've taken an issue of national interest. I can assure you, it must be one of the issues of national interest. And that is why we are even now discussing this current judge's security issue, because the judiciary must be properly given its independence, its space, and it must be seen very, very, very quickly. It's fortunate that judges be enhanced, but I'm at video clips circulating from Governor Sonko. You must be very worried that if it were true, if they were educated, that then what kind of a judiciary are we having?
Bwana SG, we seem to have trouble getting your points there. I think your internet is quite unstable, but you might want to try and move.
I don't know what's happening because you're so clear on my end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your internet on your end could be unstable. But I'll engage you as that stabilizes. I'll throw it to you, Bwana Speaker. You know, Justice Mrema security now being enhanced after being threatened by unknown people. What do you think that now means to the common mwananchi? The common mwananchi really thinks that the court is the last place that they can get justice.
If you look at how we are handling our issues in this country recently, we seem to be degenerating back into the very old days of intimidation. And the intimidation which is in this country is really at a different level altogether. And either you are behaving in a certain manner to appease certain people so that you can enjoy your peace, or you decide to do things the right way and you get it rough. It's a very big shame that we could be talking about the security of a judge who made a ruling concerning a certain issue.
Yeah.
We are a country that says that we uphold the rule of law, but at the same time, if the rule of law is enforced and enhanced, we want to threaten people. And if you are really a senior officer who have been wielding the sword on Kenyans whom you say are not behaving right, and you take them, put them in your runaway vehicles, and then you push them into prison, you push them into cells, you take them into courts, how then would you now threaten or try to have a problem with a judge who is making a ruling without having to really just focus on that particular incident? Could be the judge is being threatened for other things, I don't know. But I mean, for almost every other Kenyan, you wouldn't have to really look far. You know, if you find that a mango which has fallen
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars
we're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of shine.
They still need to see more from the CJ.
Okay.
I was a bit surprised the other day that she's actually appealing on a judgment to swear in the judges who are appointed legally by the JSC. And the Chief Justice herself doesn't want to do it. She wants to appeal that ruling. Anyway, let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can say that the judiciary is quite stifled in this nation. And not only judiciary, but the intimidation is at a different and higher level now in this nation on most Kenyans, I mean on many people, including other politicians who do not align to certain arrangements in the nation. So that need to be looked into, that need to be rethought.
Well, Director, do we have the SG back? Okay, I understand that we have the Secretary General of ANC back online. That is Simon Gikuru. Gikuru, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you very well, loud and clear.
Sawa. I think, yeah, your internet has stabilized now. Let's move on to something else. The differences between the president and his deputy are going to play out in a very important event this week. Actually, I think today. If you have your paper there, Bona SG, page 8 of the Nation says Yatani and Macharia to skip DP chaired economic meeting. This is a very important meeting. It's the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council meeting that is supposed to be held today, I think from 9 a.m. But there are several CESs who are not going to be part of it. Okorie Yatani, the Treasury CES, of course, he is a member of that council by virtue of him being the Treasury CES. He says he is going to be out of the country and he's going to be represented by junior officers. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
You see, the Jubilee government with a lot of spite, and it's very unfortunate that now the differences and infights. Yeah, for this. But there was the repeat that was ordered by the Supreme. What have the young people seen from this government? Just corruption, mismanagement, people just fighting each other, throwing blows right, left, and center. You have a president who can't agree with his deputy. And now you can see how dangerous this can turn out to be. Because now these kind of differences and rivalry will now trickle down to cabinet, trickle down to permanent secretaries, trickle down to ministries. Who knows, including our armed forces. And the council not be diplomatic in choice of their words, in choice of their language, then you realize that it can be quite a danger in our nation. If you look at our neighbors, for example, if you look at nations like Rwanda and Burundi, and even Uganda, the South, the same. These are countries that have had quite, unstable political experiences, including very bloody civil war. And don't not take some of these things for granted, because such differences or rather between such high-ranking leaders, a president and a deputy president, who cannot agree. And these are people that have millions of Kenyans behind them that listen to them, that follow them, that even to some extent obey them. So these things take lightly action, because it can degenerate to unimaginable levels of cruelty. So, for example, if you go to Juba as we speak right now, Riek Machar, the president, is not agreeing with the deputy president, is not agreeing with General Kir Mayadit, who is the president. And what's happening? The divisions are now experienced right across government, right across armed forces. And for the longest, you find that South Sudanese have been refugees here in Nairobi. You find them all and all that. So these are not lightly. You cannot imagine that the members of cabinet will feel, because the DP is the one chairing this particular intergovernmental committee, they don't want to attend. So that that shows you how serious it can get. And so the Jubilee government has failed young people, it has failed Kenyans, let them pack and go, all of them. The president and the deputy, let them pack and go.
Okay,
and
so.
When I actually see the deputy president asking for to be voted in next year, I get worried, because he's asking for a third term. Has he treated Kenyans rightly to be given a third term?
Okay, so Bwana SG, and I want to believe that is the position of the Amani National Congress. Time now for a very short break. My panelists and I are discussing matters state of the nation. We'll be right back after this short break.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man who's allowed to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Than it was in TNA, than it was in URP, than it was in Jubilee in 2013. And they're probably the more energetic people now than we have all these other, supporters of different political parties. Earlier on, the ODM supporters used to be more energetic and more convinced and very enthusiastic about their party. But I think one of the advantages that UDA is now having is that it has very, very enthusiastic and very excited supporters. And that in itself is giving it a lot of momentum on the ground. So I can tell you, coming from Mount Kenya region and also having a lot of interactions with other counties other than just Nyeri, the support of the deputy president in that region is phenomenal. It's way beyond what you can imagine. It's even way beyond what is reported. Sometimes people get to think that if you go there and you get a crowd of people, then you have won those people. It's not the case at all. And I agree with those who say that the proper and the real opinion poll will actually come in the election next year. Yeah, but at the same time, if you are to do a very, very objective opinion poll at this particular moment, you will see that is the case. And every other person is trying to play a bit of catch up here and there. And I think other people are also saying they are listening to the ground. I'm surprised that where the ground is talking so seriously and so loudly, some people are still listening. But I know why that is happening. I know it's because some of the people are in doubt. Yeah, you know, we have a very confused political class as we are talking. Especially the very senior political classes it's quite a bit confused. And I understand that confusion. It's because traditionally we have vote hunted on balkanization of regions. We have used regional kingpins. We have used tribes. We have used the tyranny of numbers based on the number of tribesmen. That is what has been used. But we seem to, the political scene and environment and now the strategy seem to have changed. And the approach seems to have changed because now the approach is much more of an ideological approach, particularly an economic ideological approach, which the old political class doesn't seem to appreciate. And that's why there's so much confusion. And many people are still thinking that we will still go the tribal way. But Kenyans are moving on. They have a very different psyche today. You find that Kenyans are thinking about now this issue of the economy. That's why if you are coming to Kenyans now, you've got to be talking about economy. If you're not talking about economy, Kenyans are not going to listen. And don't say that you know, some people are also confusing here. Like I saw one of the presidential candidates confusing the issue of economic and social welfare. When we say that introduce economic empowerment at the ground level and coming up. Are you getting? Another person, of course, will have the introduce powerful economic changes at the top and then it comes down. Then another person now comes and says, oh no, we are going to give you money. When you wake up in the morning, if you elect me, you are going to find some 6,000 shillings in your phone every other month. You know, social welfare economy. And I think, but of course, you know, Kenyans are also bright. They know what can be done and they know what cannot be done. And so it's important that people who are also giving the promises also align themselves much more to the economy other than social welfare. The social welfare can be done for the elderly people, which we are mismanaging. You know, I talked about it yesterday on media. And I would also want to state here that we have a lot of elderly people now who are registering at the ground level. But they are experiencing very hard moments at that level because they are not able to register because they go there, like we have 600 old people there waiting to register, and only they take only 100 people. The others are told to go home and come another day. And it's not working very well. And I'm saying, if, for example, the government is saying that we are backing this candidate, and this candidate is going to be giving a handout of 6,000 to every person every other month in 2023, why can't we be able to give these elderly people 2,000 per month, you know, the social welfare now. Yeah, let's do it that fast. Then we can, you know, promise the 6,000. Otherwise, we are having challenges with people conceptualizing this idea of economic ideology and approach in politics today in Kenya, which I'm excited about.
Okay, so Dr. Josiah, you are a governance expert. This euphoria that UDA seems to enjoy right now, will it fizzle out as we head to the general elections? They say a day is quite long in politics.
My brother, let me be sincere with you and with the rest of the country. I come from Kisii. I'm crisscrossing the entire county looking for votes. And I don't bull crowds. But let me tell you, this euphoria of the top president's contenders, this is just, how can I say, it's just water boiling in a cup. Recently, I was in Kisii,
yeah,
and I do my research before commenting on such issues. Our people, and I'm encouraging them to go to these men and women who are giving them handouts, like UDA, when they came to Kisii. Surely, I don't understand. According to me, we don't have any serious presidential candidate at the moment. This issue of bribing people, giving out handouts to the youth, to abuse, to stone others, it is not going to improve our country. It is really a sad story. Our parties are not ideological. They are not philosophical. They are all interested with getting power. Of course, there's no problem to getting power, but the way our politics is done in our country, surely, and unless we are careful, this country is going to be worse than it was in 1963. Why do you give people money? Why do you bribe people to give you votes? That's what I always ask. People go to these political rallies. People go to church, not because they want to worship God, not because they want to listen to the manifesto, to what they will get out of these politicians. And these politicians have really mastered the game. That's what I'm saying. No wonder I chose to be an independent candidate, because in Kenya, as I always say, we don't have political parties. I know the role of political parties in a democracy, but in our situation, it is a sad story.
Okay.
And maybe a divine intervention will help this thing. We are having, I don't know, political conmanship in our country. The question I always ask, where do you get this money you are dishing out in the streets? You are throwing. Is that growing the economy? I'm calling upon Kenyans to elect men and women with integrity, not these people who are just throwing money now. Okay. And no wonder one politician from Kisii, and he's in record, he was telling people just to go to the DP's meeting, and you know, you go and get the money, and you know how we do our things. He was speaking in our Kisii dialect. So these huge crowds you see with the politicians, that's one thing, and during voting day, even some of these youth might not even go to vote, and they don't even have cards. So my take on this is that pulling large crowds does not translate into actual votes that one will get. And as things are unfolding, we will see a lot of things. We will see a lot of things.
Okay.
At the moment, my stand is that bullying crowds everywhere. People go there just because of the COVID-19 consequences, just to get money to go and buy this gorogoro or something just to put in their stomach.
So, Bonesi, I don't know if you can get me. But, okay, so let me.
Yes, I can get you very well.
So, you the Secretary General of ANC party. If you can see what is right behind my screen right now, Oka Principals now dismissed talk of working with Ruto, who says he has 54% of all Kenyans backing his presidential bid. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
First and foremost, I'm a student of history. And if we are to learn from history, and for that matter, recent history, you realize that if crowds, pulling crowds, was the determining factor, then we would have seen a former prime minister having won presidents maybe for 3 times. So pulling crowds is one thing, translating that into votes is another totally different thing. And listening to speaker saying that because he comes from Mount Kenya, that he used the term that the DP's support there is phenomenal. You see, it sometimes you just have loud people. And it doesn't mean because you have a few loud people around you that we don't have a majority that is silent, watching and waiting for 9th of August. It is true. There is quite a group of political in terms of survey. He could be doing slightly above other presidential contenders. First and foremost, because he embarked on his campaign the first day they were sworn in 2013. And from that day up to now, those are 9 years. He has been campaigning for the last 9 years. And if he believes that he already has won this thing, why does he then keep frequenting Central Kenya? For example, yesterday or the day before yesterday, he was in Muranga. If he believes that, as Speaker says, he has sealed, he's a kingpin, if I may quote him, of Mount Kenya, why does he keep frequenting there? He should just go to the bedroom, sleep, order for coffee or a massage, and wait for a 9th of August. I can tell you for a fact, if you did the elections today, the so-called 54 is just a creation of the media. Our people are not blind. Our people are not that easily forgetting. And we know that we have given Jubilee a chance. We can see what they have done and what they have not done. And as a young person, I represent the voices of young people, and young people are asking, do these people deserve a third term? Because by giving...
Hello,
by giving... Yes, that is it. That's a fact. Because these are people who have been there for 2 terms. What do they have to show for Kenyans? So I can tell you that political arrangements have not yet shaped up. You'll see a lot of movements by February, March, April next year. And we are saying that OCA, One Kenya Alliance, is the force to watch. And we are telling Kenyans, we want to give you leadership that truly cares about you. And let me tell you, Kenyans don't want free things.
Well, I think we're having trouble.
Works for them.
Go ahead.
A government that truly works there.
I think we're having trouble with Bwana SG's internet connection there. Bwana SG, I'll have to cut you short there. Your internet is quite unstable, but I want us to come back to the studio. Gentlemen, let's talk about this Mulambi Nation issue. Western demands Raila running mate slot. What are the chances that, finally, Raila Odinga will clinch the seat after getting, a running mate from the Mulambi Nation? Bwana Speaker.
I think they are too ambitious because Raila Odinga has direct access to the region, to Western region, with or without a deputy from there. So talking from a political perspective, it may not add much value to Raila's candidature because he is able to access the voters in Western Kenya easily. And in fact, this time around, they seem like they will share with the Deputy President Ruto almost at an equal measure in Western region. And I don't know, but the OCA principles, particularly Oparanya, I mean not Oparanya, but Wetangula and Mudavadi, they seem to be outwitted by Raila Odinga. And their supporters must also be kind of the same kind of supporters. The hustler supporters are different. Yeah, the people who support the deputy president, they are distinct and they are different. But those people who are supporting the OCA group are so kind of the same people who support the Raila Odinga. And Raila Odinga is able to call the shots in this region so easily. So I really feel for the OCA candidates who are hoping to ride on the support of Western Kenya. If you remember when Raila Odinga was competing with Mudavadi, I mean, when Raila Odinga was pushing for a presidential candidate and Mudavadi was on the other side as a presidential candidate himself. I mean, rather, when Raila Odinga was running for presidency, and Mudavadi was also on the other side running for the same position. I mean, Raila Odinga was able to garner just as much votes in Western region as Mudavadi did, and sometimes even more than what Mudavadi was getting. So that is something that the Western people need to know. Again, if Raila Odinga gets a running mate from Western region and he's from Nyanza, it seems like that is a Western alliance. It kind of now alienates him from the rest of the nation. So Raila Odinga might just have to get a running mate from either the Central Kenya, Mount Kenya region, or Eastern region, or Coast region.
But moments ago you just mentioned that Kenyans are now starting to see the light and shunning tribal politics, and that will not be a problem. That will not pose itself as a problem even if both the president and the deputy came from one region.
Yeah, but with Raila Odinga, him is working that way. That's what I said, that they are of the old arrangement in the regional blocks, the kingpins. If you look at the way he is strategizing his politics, it is totally based on the kingpins. It's totally based on the regions. It's totally based on the tribal blocks. So I'm analyzing this sentiment from the Western Kenya leaders based on the Raila Odinga's politics that is playing out today. And this really is the traditional way of doing politics, you know. But even having said that, the issue of the running mate is still important in terms of region, the region that it comes from. And the region that it comes from doesn't necessarily mean tribal. I hope you understand. Because like now, if we say that, because the issue of inclusivity still, even when it comes to forming government, the person who forms government, whether people voted for them based on their economic ideology, they will still need to be seen to be inclusive of all the regions in Kenya. That is very, very important for you to note. And you need to differentiate this from the national psyche in terms of the presidential elections and politics. Because at that level, where we are looking at the presidential politics at this particular point in time, people have the psyche now of trying to think about the economy much more. That is a broader perspective. Okay. But when it comes to now how they form government and how they strategize, how they structure their government, the issue of regional inclusivity will still be important. And also remember, it's also a constitutional issue. It is not just a political issue, the issue of inclusivity across board. Okay. But that is also not going to be used so much as it has been used before in terms of political mobilization for votes in terms of the presidential campaign. So the issue of having a Westerner being a deputy to Raila Odinga is going to bring an aspect of the Western alliance, kind of leaving the rest of the country in this equation. And that would be dangerous for him. Yeah, but again, politically speaking, if one is looking at it from maybe the UDA side or anything, they would hope and pray that he does that. So that it becomes even more difficult to penetrate other areas. But nevertheless, as a political analyst, I think that would be a dangerous step for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's try and engage the SG one more time. Bon SG, I hope your internet is now quite stable. What you can see right now on our screen is a story on succession politics, and Oparanya has urged, the Mulambi Nation to reject Mudavadi and the ANC team, which you're the Secretary General of. I want to hear your thoughts on that. SG, can you hear me? Kindly unmute your microphone.
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can get you. Now,
it's already unmuted. It's already unmuted, yes.
Okay, so go ahead.
So the issue of Western politics, and I'm glad you asked the speaker why he is now referring to balkanization of regions, yet he is claiming their party, or the party that he's affiliated to, because I'm very sure he's not a member of UDA, he's a member of Jubilee, is cutting across the balkanization of regions. Well, first and foremost, my party leader is a national figure. Musalia Mudavadi is a national figure. And we cannot reduce him to a discussion by the governor of Kakamega, because now that one would be descending into the level of a political visionless. We are very focused on what we want as a party. And we are saying that as ANC, we are lobbying our police and our partners in Oka so that we can have His Excellency, my party leader, as the flag bearer for the Oka coalition. But even of importance is that everybody has the freedom, constitutional freedom to express themselves. So such remarks by the governor of Kakamega must be let to be, because it is within his constitutional rights and freedom to comment in whichever way. But as a politician, I can tell you that Our party is rooted, very, very strongly rooted in the western part of our republic. That is why we have majority of our members of parliament. That is why we have majority of our CAs. And we have placed to make sure that by the time through with the 2022 general elections, our party will be part and parcel of the next government. And that is our focus. Our focus is, when I hear the speaker saying that everybody is talking about the economy, we all know, you people in the media, you all know who is the most consistent politician, presidential contender, and the originator of the talk on the economy. That is, it is in public domain. Who is the originator of the talk of the economy? That we need to resuscitate our economy, that we need to rebuild our economy. And when it comes to issues of the economy, our party's position is that we don't have to discuss theories. We are not in an economic class. This is practicability. And that's why we are saying our approach is a functional economy, an inclusive economy, working for everybody. Young people have to be part of this economy. They have to benefit from the economic activities. Are you an electrician? Are you a painter? Are you a boda rider? Are you a kinyozi somewhere? We want a government that will come and say, hey, we have to implement minimum wage, so that whatever you are doing as a young person is protected by government and you're able to earn a decent pay. Okay. We just don't want to excite young people because we know they're unemployed, and we take advantage of their vulnerability by bringing them versus us, this versus that. We cannot build our country like this. We have to bring everybody on board. And that is why we are saying we are focused on building peace across the board, but even more important, on making sure that we bring on board the young people to a functional economy, not theories, not economic classes that function and cannot give solutions to our situation as a nation. So when you talk of the issue of what is our focus and who influences where, I think that talk, my brother, is something that we cannot have at this point in time.
Okay.
I kind of understand the political situation in Kenya. If you are a politician... And
very briefly, because we're running out of time, and I want us to talk about something very important here. It's a big read on the Standard, but go ahead.
If today you have the capacity to demonize the deputy president, you are a friend to the people who are pushing the Raila Odinga's candidature, and all the people have kind of been put in one corner. If you can throw as much mud as possible to the deputy president, then all of them have been bundled in one corner. The only one person who is sometimes trying to pull out of this corner a little bit sometimes is the deputy, is Mudavadi, and he also goes to another corner quiet somewhere alone and cries that, I was supposed to be the owner of the economy, yeah? Okay, so I'm the one who was supposed to be pushing this, and he wonders why then it is being pushed by another candidate in UDA. And so I understand when my friend says, this was our agenda, it's us who are pushing this fast, it's us who own this ideology. Yeah, but really, people should stop lamenting and just get to convince the public and get on the job. And time is coming, and it's approaching very fast when all these people in one corner, just throwing mud and demonizing one candidate, are going out to be asking a question: what is their stake in the coming government? Okay. Or was it all about demonizing another candidate?
Okay. So
nobody is lamenting over anything. No, nobody is lamenting over anything. We are just putting facts right. Okay,
so I want us to go to the Standard. Let's have a look at the Standard. The big read there is about an interview, an exclusive interview that they had with the National Assembly Speaker, that is Justin Muturi, and this goes to you, Dr. Josiah. The Speaker says here apparently that the President told him that they agreed to retire with Raila. That is, President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga had talks, and they decided that they are both going home. I want to hear your take on that.
My brother, anything is possible in Kenya, and the rumors in Kenya are not far from the truth. We have grown in this country and we know what is taking place. History tells us a lot. In Kenya, we have had political betrayals. Who knows? Raila has not, as he is always saying, he has not declared that he's going to contest for the president. Let's wait and hear what he says on 9th of December.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe Ruto or Raila might not be our next president. The president has categorically said that he's going to surprise us by naming whoever will be his successor.
But that's not in his hands to choose for us his successor. And that's the reason why I wanted to...
Excuse me.
Okay,
but he has a say as the incumbent president.
Yeah.
He has a say. We cannot rule him out entirely. So...
Well, you might want to call that an endorsement, probably.
No, not really. Not really, but though he has one vote, his influence as an incumbent plays a bigger role in the succession politics.
Okay.
So what I'm saying here is that in Kenya, as you are already correctly said, one day in politics is a big thing. It can decide many things. So let's wait. This issue is healthy. But again, what makes me really feel not happy with our nation, we are talking of improving the economy. We are campaigning from year 1 to the 50th year. Surely, where do we have time to improve our economy? And I'm calling upon IEBC to take action because the law is very clear. We have already been told that we have been given the electoral calendar. We know when the campaigns will start. But the people are already on the ground campaigning and they are talking of improving the economy. That is, I don't know, that is a lie. How surely? So, with either Baba or Ruto succeeding Uhuru, and with whatever the speaker said, I've said anything in Kenya is possible. Raila might retire from politics with Uhuru. Who knows? And a crop of new politics, not Ruto, might come up and take the day, or carry the day. That is how because I've grown in Kenya and I know how politics is playing. Anything, betrayals are there. We don't know where the handshake between our Excellency President Onyancha and the Papa holds, because that is the secret between the two people. We have never been told. Raila might reach on the 9th and say, I'm not going to stand for president. I'm retiring. And the whole scenario will change. Really goes back to square one. So ours is just let's pray and have a fair playing ground.
Okay, so
IBC should take charge of the campaigns. I'm not happy with the way things are taking place at the moment in Kenya.
Okay, so Bona Speaker, I know whoever gets the endorsement of the president will have a head start as we go to the election. It's a very powerful endorsement, if you ask me. This issue about, the speaker coming out now and saying, you know what, the president told me this privately, that he is going home and, his handshake brother Raila Odinga will follow suit. I want to hear your thoughts on that very briefly, because we have actually run out of time completely, and then you probably also tell us what your plans for 2022 are as those that are in the UDA camp.
Yeah, two things that Muturi says, which I agree with him. First, he says that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga had indicated that he would retire with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Okay. And for them to sell the 9-point agenda, which was the handshake agreement, that was always touted as the arrangement, that Raila Odinga is not interested in politics anymore. But you see, we are not fools. We understood that to mean he's running. Yeah, so we were never cheated. We were never conned or cornered by those statements that he's not running. That was never to be. Okay. So at any one point in time, any person who knows and understands politics in Kenya, he knew, in fact, handshake was the first platform of campaign for Raila Odinga to take over 2022. It was brought as a unity pact. Okay. But remember, you can't unite by excluding. You unite by incorporating. So what we expected to see if we were truly uniting was Kalonzo Musyoka there, Mudavadi, Wetangula and Deputy President Ruto. They were supposed to be in that arrangement. In fact, they were supposed also to be privy to this whole idea of bringing together Kenyans. But the moment you excluded everyone and made only 2 people to have that secret meeting, and then you told us that someone was retiring, in fact, we took it to mean that someone was launching their campaign. And so actually, even when you say that one person has been campaigning, the Deputy President has been campaigning for this time, I disagree with you, because the campaigns for Raila Odinga actually started on the handshake day. Now, the other issue that he says, which I agree with, is that the president is likely to let the best candidate win. You see, what is going to happen is that president is very keen on securing his legacy. He has been able to bring all these other group together to help him govern, and he has been able to do that. So we'll be much more keen on securing a legacy that is going to help him. You see, endorsing candidates might also mean a lot of instabilities here and there. And I'm not very sure he's keen on that. And so for him to let the best candidate win will be the best option for him. In any case, should the president endorse any candidate, that will not be an advantage. It might be a baggage. Because the moment you are endorsed by an outgoing president, you automatically becomes a project. And we know the history of projects in this country. They fail, and they fail badly, and terribly badly.
So thank you very much, John Kaguchia, the Speaker of the Nyeri County Assembly. Simon Gikuru joining us virtually. We've had some technical hitch here and there, but we really appreciate your comments. And Dr. Josiah Onyancha, governance expert. Time now for a very short break, but I think it will only be fair for Bwana SG, Simon Gikuru, before we wrap this up, in less than a minute. I want your thoughts on that, on what we've just talked about here in studio. Kindly, a minute or less.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I think the issue of whether former Prime Minister is going to contest or not is not an issue of discussion, because you all know he's going to contest. So as ANC, we are planning, we are strategizing. Persons we will find on the ballot paper is former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And we must comment that he's done his contribution. He's been a great statesman. We've read in history how he was part and parcel of the so-called Third Liberation. And it would only be it would be good, actually, if he would retire with Second Liberation, the third or whatever. We are not even sure, because some young people really don't understand this thing.
So wrap up kindly.
You did in those days. Yeah, but to wrap it up is, if he would retire and give this chance to a fresh new team, younger people, well, he would go in history as even a greater statesman. But either way, as ANC, we are planning and strategizing, knowing he'll be on the ballot. Thank you very much.
Asante sana, and all the best. Now, time now for a very, very short break. We'll be back with matters health and everything in between. Keep it here.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Don't be entitled. A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is